Hello friends, welcome to my channel Nihira Techiees, and in this video let me design form using material UI form controls. So it covers most of our controls like a input, text area, select, date picker, autocomplete, radio button and checkbox. So once it is done, we can get the values from our form using the concept of reactive forms, and also I'm going to cover how to set the values to our form also using the same reactive forms concept. Now let me go to my application. There we can start our implementation. Okay, this is my created application. Here the first step is we have to import the required models. So the first one is input that already we have imported, and the second one is select and autocomplete that also included. And next let me include this date picker, and the model name is mat date picker model. So let me include in this export section, and the similar way we have to include one more model for the date picker, that is mat native data model. Okay, and next I'm going to include two more models. So the first one is radio button and the second one is checkbox. We can include one by one. Okay, fine. And the next thing is I'm going to create one new component for implementing our form design. Let me provide the name is form design. Okay, now the component is created, so let me include this into our app routing model. After this table, so let me include this one. The path name is form and our component name is form design component. So let me save this one, and already our application in the running mode. So our path name is form only. Okay, fine. The text is coming from our component. So here we can start our designing first. So let me remove the existing item. We can start using the mat card. So there we can include this mat card content and the mat card footer. So if required, we can include the mat card header also. And for this mat card, let me include one custom class. So the margin 2% and the default text align is center, so we can move this into left. So inside the mat card content, we can include our form field. And then we can include our first control input, and the directive name is mat input, and on label this is for name. So let me save this one. We can see the current output. So we have one small text box. Let me just inspect this one. I need to get one class name. Okay, this is the class. So the width is, let me provide 98%, margin 1%. So let me save this one. See the output now. So our control coming in the full screen. Okay, so here we can include our next controls one by one. Let me provide as the email, then phone, next country, then address. So after that term, and finally date of birth. Okay, currently I have included input control for all the fields, and if you check the design also, it is that not much fair. So we have to change the relevant controls accordingly. So before that, let me define one custom class mat50, and the width is 48 percentage and margin 1 percentage. So let me save this one. We can take this class. So the first field, the name is fine, and here let me include this class mat50, and the second field is email, so we can have the input field, that also fine, and here also let me use the same class, and the third one is phone, so here also the input field is fine, and the fourth one is country. So instead of this input control, we can use the match select option. So here also I have to include this class, and let me command this one. So instead of that, match select. Okay, so instead that we have this mat option, and let me declare one array. So India, so it is just a hardcode data. Okay, so let me bind in our match select control, and the value also. So let me check the output now. See now, name, email, phone, and our country, the data are loading from our array. Okay, so if I'm included one more record, okay, see, it is coming like this. And in our address control, so this is actually text area. So let me command this one, the input control. So instead of that, we can use this text area, and again we have to use the same directive mat input. See now, so now we can enter the multiple lines, and the third one is term and date of birth. For this one also, let me include this class. The same line we can have two controls. That is my intention. Okay, this is not. And this term is the autocomplete. So here, let me include this mat autocomplete. And for the connectivity, we have to use the property of match auto complete. The same thing we can bind it here as an identifier. And also we can make the first option is active. And finally, here also we have to bind the mat option. Okay, the similar to our select control. So let me declare one more array. 15 days. So this is actually a payment term, and here also I'm going to use the ng for Okay, we are getting one exception. Okay, it should be small c. Okay, the exception got resolved. See now, we have 15 days, 30 days, and 45 days. So if I'm selecting something, it is automatically gets selected. And when I'm typing something also, the search will happen. So there we have to include some custom functionality that I already covered in my autocomplete video. So please refer it. So this video is mainly focused on the form design. And the next control is our date picker. Okay. So as of now, I'm having just one input control. So here we can use the element is match date picker. Okay. And let me provide one identifier also. Picker. And finally, the property match date picker. And let me include one more element also. And this is for this picker identifier. And also let me include one directive here. So let me save this one. See, so when I'm clicking, so it is coming like this. So if I'm selected the value, it is there. So the format is month, then date, final one is the year. So if you want to showcase the hint to the user, so we can use mat hint option. So anyway, this date picker also one of the interesting topics. So let me create one separate video for this one. Okay. So this is the way it is working. And next, I'm going to include the radio button. So instead of the form field, I'm going to use the div tag. So first we can use this mat radio group. So here we can include this mat radio button, male and female. So actually this is for selecting the gender. Okay. Value male, value female. So let me save this one. Okay, it is coming like this when I'm selected. See, so the design should be like this. And the color, it is somewhat in the pink color. So if you want to change the color also, we can change. For that, we have to use this color option. So let me provide primary. See now, it is changed. The similar way, I'm going to include the checkbox also. Matte checkbox. So this is for showing the status is active. Okay. So this one also coming, the default color is pink. So that is our accent. So let me change this into 1. Okay. So we mostly included all the controls. Finally, we can include the buttons. So in this footer section, let me have one more div tag. And here we can have this button. And the directive is matte raised button. The first button color is primary. And the text, let me provide save. And the next one, we can provide clear. and the color is warm. See now, it is coming somewhat like this. So what we supposed to do, margin to percentage and the text align right. Okay, okay, it is fine. And still the buttons both have some space. So we can include one more class to fix it. Okay, see, now our design is fine. So we have all the data. Okay. So next what I'm going to do, how to get the values from these forms using the reactive forms concept. So I have created the separate video for reactive forms. So anyway, let me share some details here. So if you want to use the reactive forms, first you have to import the reactive form model. So that already I have done. And the next thing is, let me go to our component. Here I'm going to have this constructor, and then we can inject our form builder. Using the form group also directly we can define our forms. For me, let me use the form builder. Okay, that is the better way. So we can provide our form name is customer form. This dot builder group. So in the form group we can define all the controls one by one. The first one is name. So this dot builder dot control. So the default value is empty. So if required, we can include the validation. So let me include the required field validation. Okay. So validation dot required. So let me save this one. And next, let me copy these forms. So here I'm going to have this form element. We can move our complete items. So inside the forms. So in this form, let me have this form group. So in this form group, we can use our form name. Okay. And also we can have one event ng submit save customer. So let me define the function, otherwise it will throw the error. And in the button point of view, so in this save button, let me provide the type is submit. So we can save this one. So next in our control, we can use the form control name. Okay. So already I defined just one control name. So let me save this one. So now if I'm trying to submit this one, see, we are able to see the red color because this is the required field. So while defining the form itself, I have mentioned this field is the required one. That's what we are getting this red color alert. So if I'm entering some value, it is gone. If I make this is empty, again the red color is came. So the similar way we can define all the controls. The second control is email. For the email, we can include one more condition, okay? For the format. So if you want to include more than one validation, you have to use the option of validators.compose. Okay. So here we can have the array. So inside the array, we can include n number of validations. Validators.required. So our next control is phone, then country, then address, and term, So next one is date of birth. For the date of birth, let me remove this validation, and the default value I have to provide like this. Okay. So basically it is taking the current value for the date of birth field. Today's date is the not valid one, but my intention is I have to showcase, so we are able to set some values. Okay. So if you want give some values, year, then month and date. Okay. And the final two are, one is gender. So the default value, let me provide male. And the similar way is active, so we can define our field as status. So the default value is true. So we can save this one. Next, let me go to the HTML side. We can use this form control name. So this one is email, then phone and country. Next address, then term, and this one is date of birth. And for the radio buttons, yeah, we can include in the group section. This is gender, and the final one is the checkbox. Status. So we can save this one. So now the default values are ticked. So in case the default value, if I'm provided female, where it is, yeah. So in this form, if I am giving like a female, it is selected like this, and this date value also, if I am provide 325, so it will come like this. Okay. And now trying to click this save button. See, so these all the fields we have the validation, so that's what we are getting like this. So this is the inbuilt feature in our material UI, and now we can get the values. Okay. So already I have defined one function while clicking the save. So here I'm going to include one console.log. So this dot customer form dot value. So let me save this one. We can provide some values. Country India. Some address and term 30 days. So let me provide some values. Okay. Female active. So in this console, currently we don't have anything. So when I'm clicking this save, see we have the object. Address, country, date of birth, email, gender, name, phone, status, and 30 days term. So if I'm choosing male and also it is active, see, false, and yeah, the gender is male. So the next step is we have to call our API and we have to pass this object. Based on that, we can store in our database. Okay, so that is the expected workaround in our real-time scenario. Okay, anyway, so now we are able to get the values. The next thing is obviously we have to set the values. So once we have the data, so we have to set the values to our form controls. Now let me go to the TS file, and here I'm going to implement the hook on it. We can implement this one, and here I'm going to set the values. Okay, so this dot our form name, customer form, set values. So this is the kind of object, So first one is name. So let me provide the value is Nihira Techiees. And then email. This is our official email only. And then phone. So I'm just providing some numbers, that's it. Then the country, let me provide USA. And term 45 days. Next this address ADD1 and this date of birth. So we can have a new date and year 2001. Okay, provided some values. Then this gender male. So finally status. So the value let me provide true. So we can save this one. See the onload. So the onload itself we are assigned the data. Nihira Techiees and email, the phone number, country, address, 45 days. So this date of birth and this is active male. So if I'm changed this into false and this is female. Okay, it is changing automatically. Okay, so this is the way we have to set the values. And the next thing is how to clear this form. So using this clear button that also we can implement. So here we can have one more function. So let me bind the function here. The click event. So again this dot our form name customer form dot reset. So now initially we have this data. So if I'm clicking the clear, so completely data is removed. What are the fields we have added as the validation? So it is showing the red color. Okay. Okay, great. Now we are in the end of the video. Finally, we have completed two important topics. The first one is design and the second one is reactive forms. And also we covered most of the controls. So I hope you have the better idea about how to set the values and also how to get the values. So still if you have any doubts or clarification, please post in the comment box and also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. So in my next video we can see one of the interesting video. So please stay tuned. Thank you. Thanks for watching.